having a strong foundation in a relationship.
Well, the first thing is, it's not always going to be perfect.
Rasheeda Frost is no stranger to adversity. From building a thriving business empire to being a reality TV star on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, she's always carried herself with grace, strength, and resilience. But there's a limit to even the strongest hearts. After enduring years of ups and downs in her marriage to Kirk Frost, she finally reached her breaking point. It wasn't the first time rumors about Kirk's infidelity had surfaced, but the truth hit harder than she ever expected. It was a betrayal that, this time, had gone too far.
What are some things you would say you need to do?
Well, first off, I would tell them try to learn.
Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage has been plagued by secrets, lies, and unfaithfulness, yet they've always managed to come back together. But after years of attempting to rebuild trust, it seemed like the foundation had finally cracked. The man Rasheeda once believed in had betrayed her trust once too many times. And this time, the affair with Jasmine Washington wasn't just a fleeting mistake. It was a full-blown situation that had become too much to ignore.
When you're in a marriage and a commitment, and I grew up with this man, and it's crazy because he's also helped me grow to become the woman I am.
For years, rumors about Kirk's infidelities had plagued the couple's marriage. However, the whispers turned into undeniable truths when it was revealed that Kirk had been involved with Jasmine Washington. Kirk had promised Rasheeda time and again that he would change, but each promise was followed by another betrayal. One night, as Rasheeda sat in their home scrolling through her phone, a feeling of dread swept over her. As she scrolled through the text messages between Kirk and Jasmine, her heart sank.
I mean, from you seeing my story, you've seen that things haven't always been perfect. And that's what it really has to be.
These weren't just casual messages or harmless flirtations. No, these were intimate confessions of an ongoing affair. The messages were clear. Kirk had spent yet another night with Jasmine, reaffirming the suspicions Rasheeda had harbored for so long. The pain Rasheeda felt in that moment was crushing. Seeing the truth laid bare before her eyes was far more excruciating than the constant rumors and whispers.
Every single aspect about the business, because that business is extremely difficult. It's, a lot of micromanaging.
What made this betrayal different from the others was its depth. This wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. This was a pattern of deceit that had been going on behind her back. According to a source close to the couple, it wasn't the first time, and the worst part was that it wasn't even the last. He kept doing it.
Heartbreak is like the worst thing to get over. And I don't want to cry no more, I promise y'all.
Rasheeda's moment of clarity came when she discovered undeniable proof of Kirk's repeated infidelity. After years of giving him second chances and trying to hold their family together, she found a series of explicit text messages between Kirk and Jasmine that left no room for doubt. These weren't just flirtations, they were intimate confessions that confirmed her deepest fears. In a moment of painful realization, Rasheeda knew she could no longer allow herself to be disrespected by someone who had consistently broken her trust.
The next thing I would say is, people got to understand you two different people coming from two different places, trying to get to know each other, understand each other.
In an emotional Instagram post, Rasheeda reflected on her decision. Love alone can't keep a marriage together. I gave him everything, but at some point, you realize that you have to choose yourself. I've always been the one to forgive, to hope, to rebuild, but at some point, you have to stop accepting less than you deserve.
The profit margins can be narrow. And, I just feel like with the restaurant industry.
Her decision to walk away wasn't immediate, but once she saw the cold, hard truth in those messages, the realization hit. The love is still there, but the respect is gone, she said. This painful clarity marked the beginning of a new chapter in her life, one where her self-respect and happiness came first, and Kirk's broken promises were no longer going to hold her back.
I ain't want to cry about this no more, because at the end of the day, this is a lesson. But more than anything, this is a lesson for you to understand.
The morning after discovering the truth, Rasheeda woke up with a renewed sense of clarity. She knew she couldn't keep fighting for a marriage broken by years of deceit. As she reflected on everything, she realized the pain of betrayal was too deep, and no amount of love could erase it. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was one she had to make. Rasheeda began packing her things, dismantling the life she had once built with Kirk. "I had to take control of my life again," she shared in a candid moment.
And bring each world together to mesh it well. And with that takes trials and tribulations.
When Kirk returned home and saw the empty spaces where her belongings had been, the weight of his actions hit him hard. For the first time, he truly realized the gravity of his choices. But by then, it was too late. Rasheeda had given him countless chances to choose her, but each time, he chose Jasmine instead.
I'll be honest with people because I'm super transparent, and I'm like, listen, if you ain't gonna be wholeheartedly into this, don't waste.
In a 2025 interview, Rasheeda opened up about the painful realization. "I waited for him to change, to see my worth, but he never did. I gave him everything, but it wasn't enough. I was always the last person to know what was going on in our marriage. And at some point, I had to stop putting myself second." She added, "I had to choose me. No one else was going to do it for me."
What you've done. You know, we have children, and that's the main thing that bothers me.
Her decision to walk away wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming her own happiness, her dignity, and moving forward on her terms. It was the final step in her journey of self-respect and empowerment.
When it comes to your relationship and your marriage, you know, there's going to be breaks in communication that ain't right. But the main thing is for us to try to.
Jasmine Washington played a pivotal role in the breakdown of Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage. Unlike a fleeting affair, Jasmine was someone Kirk kept returning to, despite Rasheeda's efforts to save their relationship. She wasn't just the other woman. Jasmine was vocal about her involvement and unapologetic about it.
I was really looking at like Twin Peaks type of thing and things.
Kind of sports bar-y / loungy.
Yeah.
During a tense confrontation with Rasheeda, Jasmine boldly declared, "You can keep playing the victim, but you know the truth. I didn't take him from you. He's always come to me." Jasmine didn't shy away from making her presence known on social media either. She shared screenshots of her conversations with Kirk, further confirming the affair.
Is we have children who look at you like a superhero. You are a father, and for you to do this.
In a defiant tweet, Jasmine wrote, "I'm not the one lying. I'm just the one who's telling the truth." Kirk knew what he was doing, and he kept doing it. Her public statements only intensified the tension between her and Rasheeda, but Rasheeda remained resolute. As she said in a later interview, "I refuse to let her or anyone else tear me down any further. The truth was clear, and I had to move on."
Keep that communication clear. Understand that, you know, when things ain't going right, don't bail out, because that's what a lot of people do.
Jasmine's blatant disregard for the impact of her actions on Rasheeda only deepened the betrayal, making Rasheeda's decision to walk away even more necessary. As the situation escalated, it became clear that Kirk had nowhere to hide. His actions had left him in a position where there was no turning back. In a rare moment of reflection, Kirk admitted to his infidelities during a conversation with a close friend. "I messed up. I'm not proud of what I did, but I never thought it would get this far," he confessed.
And I was gonna say, and I thought that it was like more lucrative. I was thinking liquor license, a lot of money. I was just thinking of the income.
Yet, no amount of regret or apology seemed capable of undoing the damage that had been done. Rasheeda's decision to walk away was final. She had given him countless chances to make amends, but his behavior had crossed a line that no apology could fix. She gave him everything, her heart, her soul, and her loyalty. But in the end, it wasn't enough, an insider close to Rasheeda revealed.
It's not easy, so that is amazing, and my hat goes off to you, because I know, you know what I'm saying, this married life ain't always.
As Rasheeda started rebuilding her life, it was clear that she was no longer the woman who had been dependent on Kirk for her happiness. She had grown into a stronger, more independent version of herself. Her focus shifted to her career, her children, and most importantly, herself. "I'm choosing me," Rasheeda shared in a heart-to-heart with her followers. "I can't keep letting someone's actions control my peace."
A lot of times they bail out of situations because they scared to fight. And it is a fight when it comes to marriage.
Rasheeda's journey forward wasn't easy. The scars of betrayal are not something that vanish overnight. But what became evident was her newfound sense of strength. She wasn't just leaving behind a marriage, she was reclaiming her life, as she shared in a podcast interview. "It's hard to leave behind someone you love, but it's harder to stay in something that doesn't honor you. I'm not giving up on love, but I'm not settling for less than I deserve."
I'm not knowing the responsibility behind it. So at this point, when we got into it, we had already bought the building, purchased.
The scandal involving Kirk Frost, Rasheeda, and Jasmine Washington sparked a fiery response from fans on both Twitter and Instagram. Many fans were vocal in their support for Rasheeda, expressing outrage at Kirk's repeated betrayals. On Instagram, one fan wrote, "Kirk is trash. Rasheeda deserves so much better. It's time to move on and find peace."
Every corner, every time you turn around, it's somebody doing it. Every week I look up and somebody's, got a new spot and doing something new.
Others took to Twitter, where the drama was unfolding in real time, with some users chiming in with, "Jasmine really out here acting like the victim. Sis, you knew what you were doing, and I feel so bad for Rasheeda, but she's finally taking control of her life. Team Rasheeda."
It's a contractual agreement till death do you part. And every day ain't finna be gravy, baby.
Meanwhile, Jasmine's defiance on social media didn't go unnoticed. A tweet from one fan read, "Jasmine really out here airing all the dirty laundry. But Kirk's the one who's married, though? Y'all need to quit playing with Rasheeda." Others criticized Jasmine for her behavior, calling her disrespectful and blaming her for prolonging the drama. One Instagram user posted, "Jasmine is messy, but Kirk is the real problem. Rasheeda needs to walk away and level up."
All of it because we purchased the building, purchased the one behind it, and then did a complete build out.
However, a small group of fans seemed to side with Jasmine, defending her actions by saying things like, "Kirk knew what he was doing the whole time, so don't blame Jasmine. She's just being real." But for the majority of fans, the consensus was clear. Rasheeda deserved better, and it was time for her to reclaim her happiness and peace.
The stuff that he did to get you, he ain't gonna be doing that junk 10 years later now. And you ain't gonna be doing it neither.
The downfall of Rasheeda and Kirk's marriage is more than just a celebrity scandal. It serves as a poignant lesson about self-respect, boundaries, and the importance of knowing your worth in any relationship. Rasheeda's decision to walk away wasn't a reflection of her lack of love for Kirk, but rather a recognition of her own value. She had poured her heart, time, and energy into their marriage for years, constantly forgiving his transgressions in the hope that he would change. However, time and again, she was met with betrayal and broken promises.
It's so competitive. It's so many restaurants. I would say, have a concept, have something that we need.
At a certain point, Rasheeda realized that no amount of love could heal the deep wounds caused by repeated infidelity and dishonesty. It wasn't just about saving her marriage, it was about saving herself. She understood that in order to preserve her peace, happiness, and dignity, she had to choose herself over the toxic cycle that Kirk had entangled her in. "I waited for him to change, but he never did," Rasheeda admitted. Her decision to walk away was a powerful statement, signaling that true love begins with self-love. And sometimes, walking away from a situation that no longer serves you is the most courageous thing you can do.
At the end of the day, it's a give and a take, and you gotta kind of understand that. And understand that a lot of times in a relationship, the individual.
Now, we want to hear from you. Was Rasheeda justified in walking away from Kirk? Or do you think she should have given him another chance to prove himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more insider updates on Hollywood's hottest dramas, don't forget to subscribe to Celeb Titbits.